Hello, it's Jennifer Savari, and today I'm going to show these springtime cars. And I have to say, it is cold, there's snow on the ground, and I am just over winter. So I decided to bring spring into my craft room, and this is how I did it. I love how so many different colors can be used, and they make a really great gift with a whole rainbow of colors. I used the double stitch rectangle frames, the third largest there, the floral stem collage, Devon Butterfly Trio, and the little Halo Hello by Poppy Stamps. I started out by laying the frame face down, and then I traced the inside just very lightly with a pencil. And I did this because the floral collage that I'm using, the negative empty space isn't quite big enough for the frame that I was going to be using. So I just need to enlarge that frame just a little bit, and I needed a little guide to do that. So I just used an X-Acto knife and a straight edge, and I made cuts along the very inside of my mark. So I left about a 1/16 of an inch inside that pencil mark. That's going to create kind of a matted look, like the interior is matted against that frame. And it's not big enough to really notice, but it does make a big difference. I'm just making really light passes with that X-Acto knife rather than try to make the cut all in one motion. It just seems to come out cleaner. I was really careful not to pull the paper apart. I had to flip it over, and look how easy just one pass on the back made that come apart. And so I didn't want any frayed edges there. I just wanted it real clean. I happened to have some sandpaper, so I just went over it with sandpaper, but this was the only one out of all of them that I used sandpaper. And then I just erased the pencil lines so that none of the pencil marks would show. And then I created a double layer of the frames for that extra height there to go around the edge. And I love how there is a little matted look there because we cut the edges just a little bit smaller than the frame. And I thought I would just note that the die did that automatically on the left side. It was just the right side that needed to be, cut manually. So the little Halo Hello was die cut twice, once out of purple and once out of the watercolor paper. And I just glued the purple over top of the watercolor. So there's actually 2 layers here, creating a little bit of dimension with that hello. Next, I gave the top of the flower a very, very light coat of the Finetec Metallic Pearlescent paints. Now, less was more here, but I just gave it just a very light wash of kind of that champagne-y look. This doesn't show up much more than a slight iridescent against a white background, but these really pop over a dark background. I also went ahead and did a little splatter over the vellum. And I tried to keep my brush as dry as I could and just splatter the paint. I didn't want to warp the vellum. So I probably should have mentioned this little flower as I was painting it. But this is actually an extra little piece that comes with the die set. And this petal glues over top for that extra dimension. I die cut 2 of them. And this middle layer is just going to be for height. And you see that I cut off the edge of that petal there, because the top one actually does go over top of the frame, which I think is a beautiful effect. So that middle layer was just simply for looks. And here's just a little shot. I don't know if it's going to show well on the video, but it is really, really beautiful. So the vellum again has the little splatters, and the splatters need to go to the outside. They won't really show through if the wrong side is showing. So I just did splatter side down, and this piece of vellum was just a little too large, so I just had to do a little trim along the top there. And then I just glued it onto the colored sheet behind it. In this case it was purple, but I did a whole bunch of colors like you saw in the pictures. And I just left a little edge. It turned out to be about just a little bit larger than 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And then I just went in with a little bit of glue behind the petals and on the stems where needed, and that just kind of held it down in place. And somebody did ask me what I did to my hand. I'm really sorry about that last video where I didn't have a band-aid on. I don't know what I did, but I was probably playing with my puppy and got a scratch that I didn't realize. Anyway, so I'm just clipping the very edges of those squares. Not enough to really notice, but just enough to kind of take that literally edge off. It helps make it look a little bit smoother. I put a little foam square on the back to hold up that hello, and I put it on a diagonal, put a little bit of glue over the bottom of the H and the O, and then just attached it that way. I glued the smallest of the Devon Butterfly trio to the top, slanting the same direction as the hello. And then for the interior color panel, I put the medium Devon Butterfly down in the right corner. So here's a close-up of what I've got so far. I've got the flower, the butterfly, the hello, and the splatters on the outside. And then the color pulls through to the interior with a medium-sized Devon Butterfly in the corner. And then I had a large one left over from the trio, so I put that on the exterior of the envelope. Even though I trimmed down the note card from its original size to fit my design a little bit better, it still fits the envelope just fine, and I love using note card sets to make cards. Got the envelope right there, and this has just a beautiful, thick, watercolory, luxurious feel. Thanks for stopping by today, and I hope you have a great day. We'll see you again soon.